We carried it to here as best we could. Audio description introduction. A photograph of Pierce's surrender to Lowe features, where only Nurse Elizabeth O'Farrell's boots can be made out, though she stood by Pierce's side. So too Pierce's letter of surrender. The poet walks along the laneways around the GPO, or stands in an empty white room.
At about 3:30 p.m. on Saturday the 29th of April, the operational commander of the British forces, Brigadier General W.H.M. Lowe, accepted the unconditional surrender of Pierce. The moment was captured by a picture that Lowe was careful to ensure circulated around the world. The meeting between Lowe and Pierce had been arranged by nurse and Commandant member Elizabeth O'Farrell, who had earlier braved the dangers of stepping out of cover in the vicinity of 16 Moore Street in order to approach the British forces. She subsequently took the surrender order around to various rebel strongholds. For this, General Lowe wrote a note on her behalf, stating that Miss Elizabeth O'Farrell was of great assistance in voluntarily accompanying a staff officer to various rebel commandants, and I trust that this may be taken into consideration at any future date. This note did not spare O'Farrell from being strip-searched and imprisoned. Theo Dorgan is a poet, novelist, prose writer, editor, essayist, and translator. He has written libretti and documentary film scripts and is a broadcaster on radio and television. His most recent collection of poems, 9 Bright Shiners, was awarded the Irish Times Poetry Now Prize 2015.
The poet walks along a puddled laneway in dark hat and greatcoat. We carried it to here as best we could.
Miss, did you hear that, miss? What Commandant Connolly said? A boy oblivious to the leg wound I am binding. When we were coming down Abbey Street only yesterday, William O'Brien said, "Where are we going, Jim?" And the Commandant's answer, "We are going to be slaughtered." What do you think, miss? Is that the right of it, would you say? His eyes are away, caught by the crash of rifles, of glass sparkling inward from the explosion. He would not hear me if I answered, having just discovered that all of this is actually happening, and to him, here and now. The women bring tea in a bucket, brisk and efficient, smoke-bothered, filthy and cheerful. Dead men piled to the side, we try not to look at them or to breathe when we go near. The wounded, we draw deeper inside, we do what we can to ease their pain. Beside me, an old volunteer reloads, perhaps with bullets I smuggled in. He stands, takes aim, fires. A figure drops outside Cleary's, spasms and flattens out. The flames are struggling to take hold upstairs. The noise, the roar. I had not expected the noise, the stink, the filth of it. Blood, cordite, the toilet blocked, black plaster dust everywhere. Connolly beckoning to Pierce, their bare heads together. A smouldering beam thuds down behind them. Flames lick the air. Break out through Moore Street. Send out the women under a flag. Crowbar and pickaxe work. Save what we can. We won't save you, I think. Keep my counsel. The long retreat inside ourselves has begun. Thunder outside as another building falls, the guns walking their hell steadily towards us. Fire is their answer to our stubborn persistence. They could starve us out if they wished, but some demon drives them. They want we should burn for the sin of pride, rebels against their divine order. To prevent further slaughter. The words are agreed, scrawled out by lamplight. This morning we watched a father and his child waving a soiled bedsheet, gunned down as they ran from shelter. They will not fire on a woman. I mean to remember the man who said that, one of the few poor innocents left. Gathered all I had been until now, my time on earth, stood, smoothed my skirts, pinned up my hair, Pierced by the stretcher, sought my eyes. Now, Liz, be of good heart. This is not defeat. We've made a good beginning now. We've carried it to here. I bowed my head. I would not weep. The walls, the roof crashed in. Dead bodies in doorways, on the streets, this I remember, the stench, quick swarming flies. And not just soldiers, volunteers, yes, but ordinary men and women, and children too. My God, the children. I was too horrified to feel fear, but I walked on, a cold prickling like electricity on my skin, walked under the guns, seeing madness in some eyes. I felt strange to myself, pushed out onto a nightmare stage, but rage steadied me when some aide threatened to shoot me. His superior, grim, unbending, severe in his terms, I drew on my own cold reserves. I made him give his word. I caught the flash of sunlight on lens, saw the camera raised and time slowed. I made quick calculation, the general facing Pierce crisp and commanding, our own man upright but wearied by cares, flanked by a nurse, saw what would come of this, to what purpose it could be put. I stepped to one side, stood out of the record. For the dignity of our cause, yes, and for a second reason, one that came suddenly clear. I knew we would fight on, would rise from this burning carnage. I saw no reason the enemy should have my image. I held myself out of their history to make my own.